Good evening, you're joining Prime TV News with me, Vibhuda Vijay Bandara. First, let's look at today's headlines. The emergency law passed. Suspicious parcels and vehicles exploded. The President convenes an all-religious conference. Archbishop advises all churches to follow instructions of security forces. Saudi Arabia beheads 37. And now for the news in detail. Security forces have taken measures to destroy suspicious parcels and vehicles under controlled explosions. A number of island-wide search operations were conducted by the security personnel throughout the day. The police took measures to explode a suspicious parcel in a safe place that was found at a cafeteria in the Timirigaskato area in Katana. According to information received by the Katana police, it was destroyed by Air Force bomb disposal unit. Meanwhile, a suspicious motorbike parked at the Wellawat area was intercepted by the security forces. However, there were no explosive devices. The security sections confirmed. 2 suspects were arrested with communication equipment, motorbike and a van in a separate operation conducted by the STF in the Kegol area. The operation was conducted on a tip-off received by the senior DIG M.R. Latif. Meanwhile, the police special task force has destroyed a motorbike parked at the Gaspaha junction in a search operation. Police said that a hand grenade had been found near the main entrance of the Rambava Siri Devamitta Primary School in Anuradhapura. In consequence to the finding, a search operation was conducted throughout the area. According to the information received from the public, the Army and Police Special Task Force launched a joint operation to check houses, vehicles and buildings in Kurunegala town and vicinity. A lorry stopped near the Ambagamu Pradeshya Sabha for a period of 2 days was opened by the police after a tiresome attempt. There were no suspicious stuff according to the police sources. Several areas including the Dambulla Economic Centre and the bus stand was searched by the security forces, and a suspect who was hiding in a house in the Dambulla area has been arrested with sharp weapons. A special discussion was held under the patronage of Vimba Provincial Governor Peshala Jayaratne to strengthen security in North-Western Province. Police have uncovered a suspicious motorbike parked near a petrol station in Ahaliagoda. Parking of the motorcycle had been recorded on a CCTV camera. Minister Akila Viraj Karyabasam has instructed to take special measures to ensure the safety of school premises and surrounding areas prior to the commencement of schools. A special security program will be implemented on school buses, vans, etc. Speaking to the media, Major General Aruna Jayasekar states that security in the eastern province has been beefed up. President Maithripala Sirisena has summoned an all-party religious forum to discuss about the situation that has arisen and future steps to be taken. It will be held at the Presidential Secretariat at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Presidential Media Unit announced that the All-Religious Committee will also be held under the auspices of the President at 4 p.m. tomorrow at the Presidential Secretariat. Archbishop Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit has advised that all churches should act according to the instructions given by the security forces. Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit said this at a media conference held at Bishop House. He requested the priests of the churches to not hold masses until the current situation returns to normality. He also requested the priests to ring the church bell in the memory of the victims of the bomb blast. The Archbishop urged the political leaders to set aside politics at this juncture and work for the betterment of the country. The US had no prior knowledge of the Easter bombings in Sri Lanka. The American ambassador said despite local claims that foreign officials had been warned an attack was looming. Giving an interview to the CNN, Ambassador Elena Teplitz further elaborated on the US stance on the current situation in Sri Lanka.
It must be a very emotional day. Mass funerals, a day of mourning. Americans have been killed along with so many Sri Lankans and nationals from other countries. Give me a sense of the emotion, of the feeling in Sri Lanka right now.
Well, my team and I have been working with families, American families who were impacted by this attack. We visited people in hospitals, we've visited morgues, been trying to help them address the aftermath. Not only is there just deep sadness, I think, across the island, but as a wave of funerals began, I think the human toll of this is really coming home.
Meanwhile, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. Intelligence and Law Enforcement Agency, will be assisting Sri Lanka in the investigations into the Easter Day bomb attacks.
President Trump, spoke to the Prime Minister yesterday. What help is the U.S. offering? Is the FBI going? How will the U.S. be able to help in whatever needs to be done in the aftermath?
Yes, the President has promised his support and, of course, resources of the U.S. government to proceed with this investigation. We are supporting the government of Sri Lanka's efforts to get to the bottom of this. And that includes support from the FBI.
And everybody's trying to figure out why and who and what. And the Prime Minister held a press conference today, and there are claims by ISIS for this string of Easter Sunday bombings. There's no apparent hard evidence that it is ISIS. What do you believe? What does the U.S. government believe in terms of this claim and who might have been ultimately responsible?
Well, I've certainly heard the reports that ISIS has claimed responsibility for this attack. The investigation is ongoing, and I think it's probably too soon to tell exactly what the linkages are. We certainly hope the investigation bears fruit.
And Ambassador, one of the Sri Lankan ministers also laid the blame at the local group that they call the National Tawhid Jaman, basically saying that it was retaliation for the alleged white supremacist attack in 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. Does that tally with what you are picking up as well? Do you think it was a revenge attack? And how much of the local group, this group that I mentioned, was involved?
Yes, I've also heard the reports of a claim of some linkages. Again, the investigation is ongoing, clearly with an attack of this scale and scope. These are things that are going to have to be reviewed, evidence found of any connections, and hopefully we'll gain some understanding of the motives that would cause somebody to do something so senseless.
And are you concerned, the Prime Minister mentioned that perhaps there are members of a group still at large, still with explosives. I mean, he was sure that they would be apprehended, but are you concerned that no more of this can happen in the immediate circumstance?
Yeah, I think his caution is appropriate. This isn't over, that there are likely still plotters out there. We are doing everything we can to support the government of Sri Lanka's efforts to find all of the culprits and the collaborators in this. We may never, be free from worry or free from risk, but I don't think this particular episode is going to be finished until we know that the immediate danger has passed.
Mm-hmm. I guess one of the most difficult things to wrap our heads around is that the government admits that some 10 days before this terrible Easter Sunday attack, there was a memo sent around within Sri Lankan government circles, almost chapter and verse of what was planned, to the extent that it was hotels and churches. And yesterday on this program, the Sri Lankan Minister of Economic Reform told me that it was the United States and India, their intelligence, your intelligence, which had warned Sri Lanka. Can you confirm that that is the case, that your country was amongst those that warned Sri Lanka that this could happen?
Christiane, we had no prior knowledge of these attacks. The Sri Lankan government has admitted lapses in their intelligence gathering and information sharing. At this point, we are really focused on the investigation, hoping it will allow us to, wrap up the cell that was responsible for this activity and, find all the connections that might exist elsewhere.
The death toll from 8 bomb blasts took place on the Easter Day has risen to 359. The bombs exploded at the Kochikade St. Anthony's Church, Katuwapiti and Batticaloa, as well as leading hotels and the Dehibal and Dematagode areas. As several severely injured individuals died, the number of deaths caused by this tragedy has increased to 359, the police headquarters announced. The number of foreigners killed in the incident is 38. Over 500 people, including some 19 foreigners, were injured in the attacks. Of them, 375 are still receiving treatments in hospitals. British Prime Minister Theresa May says that Sri Lanka has faced similar situation where Britain had to encounter in the past. Speaking to Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, Theresa May said she is ready to support Sri Lanka at any circumstances in suppressing terrorism. Theresa May also expressed her condolences to the victims of the bomb blast. She added that a British delegation will be sent to Sri Lanka in order to support the investigations. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan also telephoned Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and condemned the terrorist attacks. Imran Khan said that he is ready to support Sri Lanka in fighting terrorism. He said that more than 70,000 Pakistani people were killed due to ruthless terrorism. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe thanked his Pakistani counterpart for offering help at this juncture. Ranil Wickremesinghe commended Imran Khan for continuing long-term friendship with Pakistan. The funerals of the 3 police officers who lost their lives in the explosion in Dematogada were held today. A large number of people were present to pay their last respects to the officials who sacrificed their lives for the country. President Maithripala Sirisena paid his last respects to the remains of the Inspector Rohana Bandara at his house in Piliyandala. President Sirisena expressed his condolences to the family members, including the wife and children. Three suspects, including Amal Pereira, who were arrested with Markandure Madush in Dubai, were released after being questioned by the Criminal Investigations Department. 6 of them, including Amal Pereira, who arrived in the island, were taken into custody at the Bandar Naike International Airport yesterday. Following the interrogation from them, 3 suspects, including Amal Pereira, were released, police said. Police further stated that other suspects were handed over to the Colombo Criminal Division and the Mirihana Special Crimes Unit and Veligama Police Station for further investigations. Meanwhile, another person named Abu Bakr Muhammad Badiuddin, who was arrested with Markandure Madush in Dubai, arrived in Katunaik Airport this morning. He is a 50-year-old resident of Vellavatta. The individual is currently being interrogated at the Katunaik Airport's Criminal Investigation Department branch. The Colombo High Court today ordered to discharge the former UNP General Secretary Tissa Attanaika from indictments made against him. Attanaika was accused of making forged documents using signatures of the incumbent president and the Prime Minister during the last presidential election with the view of instigating racism. The Attorney General informed that the President and the Prime Minister had agreed to terminate the case on shortcut measures before High Court Judge Vikram Kalwarachi. As Tissa Attanaika apologized, he was ordered to be discharged from the case. Tissa Attanaika's passport was also released. Meanwhile, the case against MP Hirunika Premachandra was taken up before the Colombo High Court regarding an abduction of a youth. Indictments had been filed against 9 suspects, including Hirunika Premachandra, in connection with the abduction and assault of a youth at the Dematogada area in 2015. 7 suspects were previously given suspended sentence. When the case was called today, Hirunika Premachandra's lawyer informed that she had been hospitalized for childbirth. Accordingly, the case was postponed to July 15th. 3 persons have been arrested in Valimada with more than 20 grams of heroin. The Valimada Police, Army and Air Force have arrested the suspects. 70 packets of heroin were found in the possession of the suspects. 6 mobile phones and 30,000 rupees have been found with them. The suspects are to be produced before the Valimada Magistrates Court. At the time of the curfew, a group of people have pelted stones at a train travelling towards Beliatta. The train travelling from Gaul to Beliatta was attacked last night at the Unane area in Beliatta. The train driver was injured and hospitalized. After the attack, the train had been plied to destination by the assistant of the driver. The Beliatta police is conducting further investigations. A group of naval personnel apprehended 12 persons for catching sea cucumber by illegal means in the sea area west of Coma Point. Accordingly, a group of naval personnel attached to a craft belonging to the Northern Naval Command during a patrol carried out apprehended these 12 suspects who were carrying sea cucumber without a valid permit. Along with the suspects, a dinghy and an outboard motor were also taken into naval custody. The apprehended suspects are residents of Poonereen area aged from 24 to 47. The suspects, the dinghy, the outboard motor and the other fishing gear were handed over to the fisheries inspector of the Poonereen for onward investigation. The Met Department announces that a low-pressure area is likely to develop over equatorial Indian Ocean and adjoining southwest Bay of Bengal to the southeast of Sri Lanka tomorrow. General public, naval and fishing communities are requested to be attentive about future advisories issued by the Department of Meteorology in this regard. Showers or thunder showers will occur over most parts of the island after 2 p.m. Heavy falls about 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in Sabaragamuwa, central, southern and Ua provinces and in Ampara district. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. The resolution on emergency law was passed in Parliament today without a vote. Several ministers expressed their views on the prevailing situation in the country. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya said that it is highly important to grant equal rights for each and every religious and ethnic group in the country and heal the wounds created by conflicts. He also noted that all political parties and civil society organizations should work in line with the national interest, letting down petty agendas. Minister Lakshman Kirala said that it is not opportune to pointing fingers at each other at this point of time. He said it is compulsory to learn lessons from the past. He noted that the Prime Minister and the Cabinet were not updated about the security situation and even the Prime Minister was not invited to the Security Council. The Minister said that the intelligence units had to inform the President and Prime Minister immediately after receiving information about possible threats. Parliamentarian Dinesh Gunawardena questioned about the measures taken by the security divisions to ensure safety of the people even though information at their hand. Parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarat Fonseca said that the country did not have a proper security plan in the post-war Sri Lanka. He added that terrorism the island witnessed recently had been formed in the span of many years. And now let's have a look at today's foreign exchange rates. With that, we end today's Prime TV News. Prime TV News will return tomorrow. Stay safe and have a pleasant day. Good night.